Now, Jackie, we want to talk about something that scared a lot of people yesterday, and we just want to give a reminder to everybody about something that's very important.
Huge news story coming out with all the media outlets about a carbon monoxide scare with our Iowa Police Academy. So that's why we're very excited to have Jim Clark, who is the fire chief with Johnston-Grimes Fire Department, to talk about the importance of a detector that's so easy to install in the home to make sure you don't have a similar situation over the holidays or beyond. So good morning.
Good morning.
Thank
Good morning.
You for being here.
And as we move into heating season, it's important to know that our furnaces and gas appliances can create carbon monoxide in the home. And so because the gas itself is colorless, odorless, and tasteless, the only way to detect it is with a detector. And so there's many different variations out there. This one actually plugs in and gives a readout, has a battery backup. There's some that look like a round smoke detector. Most of the communities are starting to require that in new home construction and installation, that you have a CO alarm. There's some that are dual smoke detection and carbon monoxide as well. But that's the only way to detect it, is to actually have a chemical sensor that detects carbon monoxide.
Now, you can't smell it, so there's no presence of it, but are there some symptoms that go along with carbon monoxide being in the home?
Yes, and so sometimes people will think, you know, oh, I just got the flu, and it just keeps hanging on, hanging on. One of the things people should think about is if they wake up in the morning and they don't feel good, but then by the time they come home from work, they're feeling pretty good again, that's probably a chance that there's an exposure to CO in the home, and then they're not being exposed to it at work. Carbon monoxide has a greater affinity to your hemoglobin, which is what carries your oxygen through your blood. And so it's really hard to shed that. So some of the people that were exposed to it at the Law Enforcement Academy actually had to go into what they call a hyperbaric chamber at the hospitals to help them shed that off of their hemoglobin so that it can be replaced with the oxygen.
Right.
And so you want to make sure that if you're feeling ill and it doesn't make sense, that you have somebody come and check your home or go to the doctor and get checked out. We actually have sensors on our heart monitors that can check your oxygen level in your blood, but also can check for carbon monoxide in your blood as well. So it's just a simple probe that they stick on your finger, and they can do that quick check.
Now, are some people more susceptible to feeling ill from carbon monoxide than others, or is everybody equally affected?
No, I mean, it's just like some drugs affect people differently. I mean, we all think we're pretty much the same as humans, but we're all wired just a little different, and so some people are more susceptible to it. People with heart conditions are a lot more susceptible because, like I said, they're not getting the oxygen because it's being replaced by the carbon monoxide in their hemoglobin. So.
Yeah, and this time of year when you're buttoning the homes up too, there's nowhere for fresh air to get in the house.
So you're talking a lot about heaters kicking on and not working properly. Why is that such a big connection with carbon monoxide right now? Is it because something goes wrong in the heater system? Because
carbon monoxide is produced by the incomplete combustion of the natural gas or the heating oil that's burning to fuel that furnace or that boiler or whatever it might be. Normally, when you've got complete combustion, you end up with water vapor and carbon dioxide. And so carbon monoxide means that it's not burning completely and efficiently. And so there's some symptoms that you might see on your furnace. So if your flue pipe from your water heater or your furnace is starting to show rust, or it's showing that it's got condensation on it or something, that's an indication that it's not burning properly.
Really?
So people should have their furnace or their boiler inspected annually. You know, once a year, have a qualified technician come in and inspect it, and they'll be able to see if there's a hole or if there's a problem with it and it's not venting properly.
And you mentioned water heaters and the furnace itself. Those are the two main culprits, aren't they?
Those are the two main culprits normally, but annually, when we have power outages, a lot of people use alternate methods to heat. And so if you've got a gas stove, you open up the oven, you try to heat, or you use a some sort of a portable kerosene heater or something,
or generators
that you bring inside, and generators, those especially, you know, when they have wide power outages, people use generators, bring them into the house, think that, oh, you know, maybe if it's even in the garage.
I was going to say, some people put it in the garage and run an extension cord, but that's not good either, is it?
Right, no, because it can still permeate through into the house from the garage. And same thing, people that take their motor vehicles and try to warm them up in the garage,
right,
that can permeate in through the house as well.
And how quickly can that happen? Can you get a decent amount of carbon monoxide in your home?
Very
say for
quickly.
example, if somebody warms their car up in their garage and they don't open the door, how quickly can that happen?
Very quickly, within just a few minutes.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay, so let's say someone out there is hearing these symptoms and saying, you know what, I'm suspicious of something happening in my home. Get out of your home. I know on cold days like this, that's hard to think of, but what should they do? Do they call the fire department?
Yeah.
Do they call a gas company?
They have a detector, and I mean, they're pieces of equipment and they can fail. One of the things we tell people is read the instructions. You know, some people will put something up, a smoke detector or a carbon monoxide detector, and then think that they never have to replace it, but they all have a limited life, and so most of them either with the instructions and people read it, throw it away, and then like how often. This one says every 7 years you're supposed to replace it because the chemical sensor goes bad over time, it deteriorates, and so you need to anywhere from that 5 to 10 year range replace those just like your smoke detectors, and then change the battery on a regular basis. But we want people to understand if there's CO detector goes off, call 911. We have actual handheld detectors. We'll come in, we'll measure. A lot of times it's a false alarm, it's a faulty detector, but we'd much rather have people call us and then us go and investigate and find out that it's nothing, rather than people just ignore it and think, oh, you know, I'll change the battery later or whatever, and actually have a CO problem in their home.
Valid.
Well, thank you so much for being here today. A simple device could save your life. Thank you.
Thank you so much. All right, it's 11.